everybody, to another episode of Head to Head Sports. I am your host, Brian Parker, along with my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you, man?
Man, I'm good. I had a good Christmas. Hope you did too.
I did. You ready to get this 2020 business over with?
And I'm so done with 2020. She don't have to make any kind of noise on the way out the door. Just go.
Just right there with you, brother.
I'm done. And there seems to be a lot of NFL teams that seem to be hoping 2020 can conclude as soon as possible.
We got that right.
We hit week 16, and now we are looking forward to week 17, and then we have playoffs after that. Playoffs. But the funny thing is that there's a lot on the line with a couple of teams this week for positioning when it comes to, sometimes the last game of the year doesn't matter, but that could not be further from the truth for a handful of teams. They need a W very badly, in the worst way, for them to have any chances of going into the following week. Some teams need to win and need to pray and bite their nails that other teams in their division slip up and lose. So we'll get to a lot of those, but I know you probably want to start off with your game of last week, which was the Steelers and the Colts.
Oh, yeah. You know that's my team, my squad, Pittsburgh. All year long, been riding them, man. I said at the very start of the year that Pittsburgh would win the North, but it would come down to the arm of Ben Roethlisberger. Ben has been healthy all year, been standing upright. The elbow has not snapped into like a lot of people predicted it would. So here we are, champs of the NFC North. As far as the game itself with the Colts, it's a couple of stories out right now about offensive coordinator Mr. Fincher. Mm-hmm. And you and I had kind of talked about this last week with the predictability of the Steelers' offense.
Yes.
Where the other teams just know what's coming. And there's a game plan out there to stop it that pretty much the Redskins came up with and implemented and other teams copied. During the Colts game in the first half, Pittsburgh was losing 21-7. Had very little offense. I think they ran the ball something ridiculous like 7 times for 5 yards in the first half. I'm reading reports, though Pittsburgh was lucky enough to come away with the win. It's really interesting how they did it because the reports I'm reading is that the Colts defensive players were actually calling out the Steelers' plays in the first half before they even happened because they knew what was coming. It's that predictable and that bare bones that they knew what was coming. Roethlisberger, with the team down 21-7 in the second half, pretty much did one of these to the OC and said, I'm calling my own plays. Pittsburgh automatically opens up offensively. They went ahead and scored 21 in the second half, limited the Colts to 7, and they walk away with the victory.
2-3, yeah.
So I just thought that was really, really interesting. If you're an OC in this league and defenses are calling out your game plans and schemes and plays, that's a problem, man. That is a problem.
What do you think about you brought up the rushing? They still didn't really do very well. They only ran for 22 yards in the game. I mean, 23, but Ben took a knee and went down for -1 yards. But 22 yards rushing.
Pitiful. Pittsburgh Steelers, pitiful. And I think I'd put something on the water cooler thing on Facebook about it being a sad day when the Steelers are down at the other team's 2-yard line and they are passing the ball 3 times to try to get into the end zone. This is Pittsburgh Steelers football, man. And you mean to tell me you don't have the confidence in your O-line to go out there and get a single yard? At the time, it was 1st and goal at the 1. They ran the ball 1 time. Of course, they lost a yard. So then all other times they're trying to pass it from the 2-yard line because they just pretty much gave up and submitted to the fact that they cannot run it in from the 2. I thought that was sad, man. Being a Steelers
I,
fan all these years,
somewhere
I never saw that.
Jerome Bettis is going, really?
Yeah, really. I'm sure Bettis was like, I cannot believe what I'm sitting here watching. Are these the Pittsburgh Steelers that
Right.
we came up with? It's crazy,
I
man.
think Frank Gore could have got in that 1 yard.
Oh, yeah. Even if he would have drug his dead knee across the goal line, at least he would have got the ball over.
Oh my gosh. They got to figure that out because Ben has been amazing. He threw 3 touchdowns, no picks. He threw the ball 49 times. That worries me with him. He has been upright. He has been able to stand up. He definitely waved off his OC and put the game on his shoulders, and then the defense stepped up and only limited Indianapolis to 3 points in the second half. All of that being true, I'm concerned that you have an aging quarterback that's having to throw 49 times to win you the damn game. That does worry me a little bit. He threw it for 341 yards. He needed all of it. He needed every bit of it. If you're going to go through the playoffs, your offense cannot be one-faceted. You got to have a run game to milk that clock when you get that lead. You got to be able to throw that ball when you need to, but these Herculean efforts that Roethlisberger is doing, outside of Aaron Rodgers and Derrick Henry, he MVP.
I'm telling you.
He's willing his team to win.
I'm telling you. I mean, a lot of people, they already have Rodgers as the MVP because of the ridiculous numbers that he's putting up. But you remove Roethlisberger off that team. I mean, it's basically the same team as last year that didn't qualify for the playoffs with an 8-8 record. It's just one change, and that's Big Ben. And all of a sudden, the Steelers are sitting here at whatever their record is, 12-3. Yeah. It's crazy, man. I mean, he should get some MVP votes in my opinion.
No, I agree. He should definitely get some votes. I mean, it shouldn't be unanimous.
No.
Aaron has the thing with Aaron is he's thrown 4,000 yards. Ben is still at 3,800. Mahomes has thrown 4,700, so he's thrown 700 more than Aaron, and he's thrown 900 more than Ben. But everybody knows that Kansas City is more like the Rams were back in the days of Torrey Holt and I can't think of a man's name now.
Isaac Bruce
and all of them when they were just zipping the ball all over, the greatest show on turf days and stuff like that. That's all.
Isaiah Keem, all them boys.
Yeah, that's all they are. But the thing with Aaron, just to break off for that MVP real quick, he's only thrown 5 picks. Now, a lot of people will say, well, he throws the ball away very quickly when he doesn't have anything there. Well, that's what the hell you're supposed to do. Yeah. You live to fight another day. He don't take a lot of sacks because when he don't have it, he throws it away. But now Ben has thrown 10 picks. He's thrown 33 touchdowns, so there ain't nothing to sneeze at. But Rodgers has thrown 44 touchdowns. He leads the league in touchdowns thrown at 44-5 is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
On any planet.
Yep.
Ben's done 33-10. That ain't bad. He's got a 94.1 QBR rating. It's not terrible.
Not at all.
Not at all. And again, his age.
Right.
His freaking age.
Right.
But no, you're right. They put Ben back into the offense. Nothing else really changed. And that is what the team needed. There's something to say about stability. There's something to say about having a mature quarterback that doesn't go to strip clubs and get their potential potential head coach who just goes through chemotherapy, potentially sick.
Unbelievable.
There's something to say about having a quarterback
that was mature. Next on my list. That was next on my list.
How about that segue?
Whoa! You got to be kidding me! Wow!
Oh God, you ignorant SOB! And if anybody's listening, don't know what we're talking about the Washington football team decided to part ways with their not so franchise quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, high draft pick out of the Ohio State University after he had 1 year where he balled out at Ohio State. High draft pick. A lot of people sat there and clowned the Giants for not drafting him and drafted Daniel Jones instead. How are they looking now? Dwayne Haskins started out the year, Ron Rivera, first-year coach, started the year letting Dwayne Haskins basically play himself out of being the starter, which he did after 4 games. And they brought in Kyle Allen, who subsequently ended up getting hurt. Then they brought in,
Alex Smith came off the bench.
They brought in Alex Smith, had that great story. But Alex, the last couple of games, has had some calf issues. He did try to practice. Calf tightened up on him. They didn't want to risk it. So, Dwayne, we're going to call you back out. We're having some problems with you studying the playbook, having some maturity issues. They took his captaincy away. Who takes that away? I've never heard of that.
Right. Who strips somebody of their captain position? That is severe. But we've seen this like kind of all year because we've not really seen another quarterback get benched from first string down to third.
Right.
To third. That's telling.
Even Cam Newton keep getting benched, but not to third.
Not to third, man.
Which I would argue, I wouldn't be mad if he got benched to third or fourth from
right.
practice squad.
Yeah, because as soon as I saw that and heard that Haskins had gotten benched, I was like, okay, cool. But then I heard the third string part, and I was like, wait a minute. Something's going on in that locker room, man. And now all of it's starting to come out. Just a bunch of immaturity from the guy, reading a lot of stuff about him not being in the playbook, a.k.a. Jamarcus Russell. And the thing that just really I can't believe is being in a strip club during the middle of the week in a pandemic with all of these protocols that the NFL have set out and all of this media and TMZ out here ready to capture you.
Right.
Doing such. Crazy. You just got your starter job back. What are you doing? What are you doing?
And you know what? And I'm glad that he didn't go to New York with that foolishness where the lights are brighter and they follow you even more. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Oh gosh, he would have folded like a book of cards. And there was some controversial comments made by Booger McFarland. Not sure.
I heard those.
Heard those comments, but it was harsh. And a lot of people are blowing back on Booger because they're like, hey Booger, you're sitting there grouping every African American quarterback into what this guy did, and you're saying that a lot of them are more worried about, establishing their brand than, taking this business seriously and realizing how much money is out there on the table. And I understand where Booger was coming from.
I did.
But I think he kind of generalized it too much.
Yeah.
Because there's too many other examples. We got Mahomes. We got Deshaun Watson.
Absolutely.
As starters now. We got Russell Wilson out there.
All doing the right thing.
All doing the right things. We got Teddy Bridgewater.
Doing the right things. Great example.
We don't want to take Haskins and make him the poster child for that one owner to go, see, that's why I ain't want them starting. That's why I ain't give Dak Prescott no franchise deal.
Right. Yeah.
We don't want – so I kind of feel like Booger kind of might have – I understand what he was saying, and I understand a lot of times as African Americans when somebody from our background messes up, you feel like it's representative of everybody.
Yeah.
I've had that feeling where you feel like you almost have to overperform, outperform to show that you belong. And when one of you kind of trips up, because there's been Ryan Leaf, there's been Johnny Manziel.
Perfect example.
I mean, there's been plenty of Caucasian quarterbacks that had some of those same knocks against them and stuff like that. So, that's certainly not hell, you can throw Trubisky in there. Some people brought up Ben. I ain't gonna lie, they brought up Roethlisberger about,
Young Roethlisberger was wilding out. He was.
Some wilding out, some allegations and stuff like that. They kind of got swept under the rug. I get all of that. Some stuff about Brett Favre got swept up under the rug. All those things start to come out. So it's not just about African-American quarterbacks. Understand what Booger was getting to, where he was basically he was looking past Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
Trying to communicate to the next Dwayne Haskin,
Right.
whether he's still in high school, whether
Yep.
he's in college. Hey, when you get to this league, everybody is on your level. You might have been the best in your respective divisions and stuff like that. Now you come to this league, everybody works just as hard. You got to
Yep.
work harder. And you
And it's
got to
not just
also
about
understand,
playing football.
and you got to understand this when it comes to quarterback. Ain't been that long ago where everybody kept talking about Doug Williams, where they kept talking about Randall Cunningham, where they kept talking about Dante Culpepper, because those were the only African American quarterbacks you could really name back then.
Yeah.
So it is a privilege. There's only 32 starting quarterback positions in the NFL. Yeah, there's plenty of linebackers. There's plenty of defensive ends. There's plenty of, guards and tackles and everything else. But there are only 32 of these. And you were given the keys to a storied franchise that don't have a name, but a storied franchise. And you broke COVID protocol twice
Unbelievable.
that we know of.
Unbelievable. You are a leader of this team. When you sit in that quarterback chair, everybody in the locker room is looking up to you for direction and leadership. That is extremely poor leadership to basically blow off COVID mandates and to be at a strip club when you are struggling on the field and need to be in a playbook in a strip club in the middle of the week. Come on, brother. What are you doing, man?
In contrast, Cam Newton ain't playing worth a damn. But you don't hear nothing about he ain't in there practicing. He ain't giving his all.
Right.
There's problems in the locker room. Hell, even the coach, even when he pulls him out and said, Cam, this ain't your day. Bill, who's going to be your starter next week? Well, I imagine it's going to be Cam.
Yeah.
After the way, because it's something that he's doing in that locker room.
Yep.
So that has a lot to do with it. You got to realize that. Deshaun Watson, they respect him. They ain't been winning this year, but they respect him. Russell Wilson, they respect him.
Yeah.
There's so many things that he could look to. Kyler Murray is doing it the right way. Young kid, heralded out of college and everything, been given the keys. Sometimes I think he runs too much, and I'm afraid for him, but he's getting it done. So Haskins, I mean, I understand what Booger said, but you know what? Dwayne Haskins speaks for Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah. And I get what Booger was saying too. If he would have left the part out about African American, just taking that one little small part out, he would have been dead on the money with everything he said. Amen. Football, when you get to the NFL, stops being about just football. You play just football in high school. You get by in college with just football. When you get to the NFL, it is now business oriented. You got people and teams that are paying you millions of dollars, and there's millions of dollars on the line. Your actions can affect a whole team's financial gain. So you got to have your head on straight in that quarterback position. And Haskins, unfortunately, just is not there yet. Now, I understand he's got some teams looking at him. I guess we'll get to that part in a minute because I find those comments interesting as well.
Well, I don't want to hear Booger say anything about quarterbacks trying to build a brand, and I can't go a day without seeing Baker Mayfield knocking on the gates of Cleveland Stadium like he lives there.
How many playoff games has Baker won?
That would be 0.
Ooh, boy, some of this stuff is unbelievable.
Damn. Oh, boy. If I see another Baker Mayfield, I'll be like, really? Now, I see, and it's funny. I see Deshaun Watson doing that analytics commercial where he's talking about, I got a good look at his shoe, a size 15. And then I see Christian McCaffrey, 4 of them in front of me. I can deal with that. I like that. That's good. You're only in the NFL for a limited time. And for so long, the players didn't have a chance because the helmet always covered them, and you never really saw them like that.
Right.
Now we're sitting there, and they're making money off of their brand. I have no problem with them having a brand. Yes, Booger. They didn't have IG back in the day, where they could film this and film that. That's all part of the culture now. I don't think that necessarily takes away from it. If you can still, I mean, McCaffrey, team ain't winning, but I don't question his toughness. I don't
Oh,
question
no,
his leadership. I don't
not at all.
question his ability to get in his book and study the game or anything like that.
Not
I
at
don't
all.
question that about Deshaun Watson. I think
You can't.
they take their business seriously, but
Hmm.
it doesn't mean that they can't do other things. The
Right.
problem is that when it's known that you're not, and then you're doing these other things, now you're giving people the ability to poke holes at you.
And especially when other things are a strip club. Come
I
on,
mean,
bro.
and then that's what becomes, I think, the racial element, which, white folks go strip clubs too. But it's like, okay, what would happen if we give a black guy a bunch of money? Where are you gonna be at? Strip club.
Hmm.
He's playing into that stereotype that he's just gonna be sitting there making it rain in the strip club, even though you reign in COVID. It makes totally no sense at all. You just sat there and saw the Denver Broncos have no quarterbacks on their team. You just lost two quarterbacks to injury. You're the only option. You're at the strip club. Your head coach is going through cancer, meaning he can be more susceptible to COVID.
Man, I would have loved to have seen Ron Rivera's face when he first heard the news of that. Oh, God, I would have loved to be a
Oh,
foul ball.
God. I knew everybody was like, okay, he's done. After
Yeah.
this year, they're not going to bring him back. But the fact that they cut him, because and see, here's the thing. They're fighting for their playoff lives.
Yeah.
And what they're saying is that you have gone so far, you're so toxic, that we would rather either win without you or lose without you.
We will cut our losses.
Wow.
First round draft pick.
If you
In
win
year
this
2.
next game and the Giants lose, you're going to the playoffs.
Yep.
Who they play? Dallas?
Yeah,
I can't
Dallas and
remember.
New York.
Yeah. So it's that close. Well, they play the Eagles, and then Dallas plays the Giants.
Yeah.
So I think if the Cowboys win and Washington wins, Washington goes.
Washington controls their own destiny.
Right. If the Giants beat the Cowboys and Washington loses, the Giants go.
It's the Giants. Yeah.
So Washington needs to win.
Yep.
But they're saying, even if we lose, you ain't going to be on the team.
You're not going to be part of it. You don't deserve to be here. And we have had enough. I don't care what your potential talent could be. I don't care if you were a first round pick. We have had enough. Crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. When somebody's in the hunt, when it's the last game, and that game can determine whether there's a second season for you or not. And your team basically said, I've seen enough of this and I'm good. Wow.
Telling.
Wow.
Telling.
That's chilling, because you just don't see that happen. You got to be that bad for them to just walk away. Just say,
we're
I'm
done.
good, bro. I'm good. Any other games from week 16 that blew you away or anything?
There were a couple. The Lions. It's been a long time since I've seen that level of quit on a football team. They were uninterested. They did not want to be there. Their season is over, man. I saw the worst tackling, the worst effort ever on a defense that I can remember in a long, long time, man.
I saw Tom Brady do some stuff I ain't seen Tom Brady do in a long time. He threw his 348 yards in the first half.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
They brought in Blaine Gabbert to clean up.
I mean,
and Blaine threw 2 more touchdowns. They had 6 touchdown passes in that game.
That was an extremely piss-poor defensive effort. People were not trying to tackle. People were pushing the guy instead of trying to wrap him up and tackle him. I mean, the Lions have checked out. They are done. They are looking forward to the 2021 season. They are ready to get the hell home.
34-0 at halftime. Tom Brady, 22 of 27.
Whew.
Nuts. 348 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That's a stat line for a whole game.
One game. Mike Evans, 10 catches, 181 yards. Godwin, 84. Gronk, 58. AB, 35. Everybody caught a ball. I think even the ball boy caught a pass. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 different receivers.
Everybody was open. Everybody.
Was open. I think Bruce Arians caught one. Byron Leftwich was like, put me back out there. Yeah, that was a can of ass on that one. Yeah, 47-7 Tampa Bay. They is still in the wild card, and with only one game to go, it looks like New Orleans is going to win the division.
Yeah,
but the Bucs are going to the postseason now, regardless if the Falcons beat them on Sunday. They're in the wild card.
Yep. A couple of more thoughts from last week before we, I guess, move on was. First of all, there's a new king in the AFC East, and I think they pretty much made that well known as they were taking a couple of digs at the New England Patriots on Monday night, trying to throw the ball up 38-9 and still trying to throw it. They're paying the Patriots
was that a
back.
statement?
That's a big statement. Paying them back for years of frustration on that one.
Oh, boy.
So we got a storyline there. You got a storyline with Cam Newton. And then we got my Carolina Panthers, who, for whatever reason, felt like winning the game.
Well, there's two teams that did that last week, and Carolina is one, and those god-awful Jets are another, that did not get the memo that we are now playing for draft position. And how the Jets did not understand that you were supposed to go 0-16.
Oh, my God.
Now they're on a 2-game winning streak.
Crazy.
And they beat the Browns.
2020, man. I tell you, 2020.
And then to your point, those Carolina Panthers that just did not get the memo. Now you got to actually give Washington is such a mess. Carolina just did barely enough. They didn't even score in the second half. It was 20. It was 20-3 at halftime, and Washington scored the next 10 points of the game, but they just didn't score enough to win.
Yeah, I guess it's a double-edged sword as I look at it. As in, God, what are we doing winning? Because we went from draft position, I think, 3rd all the way down to 9th, just by that one victory, and then other things that happened in the league. So that's one edge of the sword. But then the other edge of the sword is, well, hell, you can't lose to a Dwayne Haskins-led football team. You can't lose to them. So,
and everybody plays up. It's their former coach and, all those kind of things. So emotional. And, everybody has to regular speak with the media during the week. It's just the next game on our schedule, and we can't be all caught up in that and da-da-da. What? You circled that game at the beginning of the season.
Most definitely.
The media has to ask, but a lot of times the media asks you a question they already know the answer to, and they also know that you're not going to answer it truthfully.
You're just like a
wink. There's a wink, wink, nod, nod.
Yep.
You do the coach speak, you do the player speak. Well, it's just the next game. On to the next game is the most important game, and I don't care if it's my old team or not. Our game is to beat that team. I'm not playing against that team. Da 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 da. Whatever.
Blah 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 and blah
whatever.
Blah blah. Yeah.
Sure, you're not. Sure, you're not. Ron Rivera wanted to win that game more than anybody, and so did the players on the Panthers. They wanted to win that game.
Yep.
And they can say that, but yeah, you're right. Washington's such a mess with what they had with Haskins that they still were able to overcome that. In that game, what did Haskins even do? 14-28, 154 yards, 2 picks.
The usual 2 picks. You got to throw those in there.
They brought in Taylor Heineke, Now he was a Panther too, right?
He was a Panther too.
Oh wow. Well, Rivera just keeps recycling them, huh?
Yeah.
12, but he did better. 12 of 19, 137 yards and a touchdown, no picks. He also ran 3 times for 22 yards. So they're just a mess. They're just a mess. They don't have a quarterback. So if you don't have a quarterback, you don't even know what kind of line you need to have.
Hopefully they get Smith back this week. I'm hoping, because I don't know any other option.
Right.
They look pretty good with Smith at quarterback. At least turning.
I think they felt comfortable. I think they felt comfortable enough to let Haskins go with Heineke being the number 2. That gives Smith one more week to rest that calf.
Yep.
That he would be okay. I think he could have played, but they were worried about his calf tightening up, and to have him available for that 1 game versus 2 games. Now the problem is that if it's that tender, and you do want to win your division, guess what? Your prize is that you play Saturday.
Yeah.
So you don't get a lot of rest. The only good thing is that there are no Monday Night Football games coming up because I believe the national championship game is on Monday, right?
I know there's no more Monday Night Football games.
Yeah,
right
and
about that.
I think they do that not to compete with college.
Yeah.
This is national championship, I believe.
Bowl season at least.
Bowl season going on. So, yeah, I think that Alex Smith will definitely be starting in that game. He'll give them the best chance to win.
And they did get back their running back, Antonio Gibson. I was surprised to see him out there. But he was back
Gibson
and
was
he
out.
looked good. So now they have a dual running back attack in him and McKissick.
Yeah.
So I got them picked to win that game. I think the Eagles, they haven't packed it up, but they'll probably pack it up for this game. So I got Washington winning this game. They got the inside track. I think they realize the importance of it. They control their own destiny. They're the only team in the NFC East that does control their own destiny. So I think they get it done this week.
Yeah, to your point, yeah, Washington is 6-9. The Cowboys are 6-9, but Washington has beat the Cowboys both times this year.
Yeah.
So if Washington wins straight out, if both finish at 7-9, Washington wins because they beat the Cowboys both times.
Yep.
The Giants are 5-10. If they go to 6-10, and the Cowboys would lose because if the Giants win, the Cowboys would lose. But then if the Washington somehow slips up and it's a 3-way tie at 6-10, then the Giants win. The Giants win.
Let's just hope the Redskins take care of business so they could be a 7-9 team in the playoffs. Because I do
other
not
than a 6
want
and
to
10,
have a 6-10 squad in the freaking playoffs. That is ugly.
Unbelievable.
That's ugly to even say.
Unbelievable. So while there's no division champion there in the NFC, the other 3 divisions do have a division champion, and that would be the Seahawks have clinched the NFC West.
Yep.
The NFC North is going to the Packers, and the NFC South is going to the Saints. The only wildcard team that's in as of right now would be the Buccaneers, and that is because there's some interesting stuff going on where the Rams control their destiny. If they slip up, the Cardinals are right behind them. They could slide in. Oh God, I can't even believe I'm about to say this. The Bears.
The Bears. Trubisky has found his game.
The Bears could actually slip into a wild card spot depending on what the Rams and the Cardinals do.
Yeah. What a weird season for Chicago.
Unbelievable.
5-1, then they lose like 5 straight.
So the Bears right now are 8-7.
Yeah.
If they go to 9-7 and the Rams lose, I don't know how that works out. But then the Cardinals, if the Cardinals win, they'd be 9-7. So you're going to have some 9-7 teams potentially, unless the Rams win then their last game, and that would put them at 10-6. Who do the Rams play? The Cardinals. So there's a lot on the line in this last game. The Rams play the Cardinals. If the Rams win, then they're in. If they lose, then a lot of other things have to factor into whether they make it into the postseason or not. So that's another team that controls their destiny for sure.
Very interesting stuff that's going to happen in the National Football League this weekend, man. The games are going to be great. It's almost like an additional playoff week if
It
you
is.
kind of think about it.
It is. It's like a
Um,
play-in game.
but because of the imbalance of the the NFC East flipping over to the AFC squad or
Yep.
side of the ball, you're going to have most likely an 11-5 team that doesn't make the playoffs.
It's funny you say that. I'm looking
Wow.
specifically at the AFC South. They may be the team looking on the outside looking in. You've got two 10-5 teams, the Colts and the Titans, leading the AFC South. I mean, what happens? Or is it Miami that loses out? Because Miami is 10-5. If they win their last game, which is it's against the Bills. If they win their last game, then they're 11-5. If the Bills,
Mm-hmm.
the Bills have clinched. They may rest people, they may not. We don't know what they'll do, but they've already clinched. They're not playing for a perfect season. The only thing they're really playing, they're not even playing for the 1 seed. Because I think the Steelers would. Well, no, actually, they both are 12-3 right now. So the 1 seed is still up. No, the Chiefs have it.
Chiefs got the 1 seed. Yeah.
Chiefs got the 1 seed. So you're going to play the first weekend anyway.
Yep.
Rest your players or whatever, or don't. But that's an option. If you do that and then Miami ends up going 11-5, the Ravens are 10-5 right now. The Dookies are 10-5 right now. So you're right. There is, and the Titans and the Colts are 10-5. You're going to have an 11-5 team.
Most likely that misses the playoffs, and I've never seen
it's
that.
too many of them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
There's 5 teams right now that are 10-5.
5, 10-5 because of the imbalance of the NFC East and what they have caused with their poor winning records. And one of them going to qualify for the playoffs. It's going to affect the AFC side, and where an 11-5 team is potentially going to stay home.
Yeah,
never seen that before in all my years of football.
Now, what are you thinking though about the AFC West has taken over as the AFC East in the sense that it used to be New England and the Pips, where New England just beat the crap out of everybody in the division, and it wasn't even close. Now the AFC, the Chiefs have 14 wins, and the next team in second place is the Raiders with 7.
Yeah, they clobbering everybody. They're just mashing everybody. I found that interesting too. I was thinking about that. It's like, wow, Kansas City is the new dominant team when it comes to
right. They're like the Patriots of the AFC, where the Patriots every year just beat the crap. I mean, they beat the Jets, they beat Miami, they beat Buffalo into submission, which is why Buffalo did what they did. I know that's why they did it.
6-0 every daggone year.
Yeah, exactly. Because all you gotta do is beat those 3 teams, and I mean that's already you're almost at the halfway point of a winning season. So thanks to your division, and that's what Kansas City did. They feasted on their division.
Beat up the Broncos, beat up the Chargers, beat up the Raiders. I think the Raiders did at least get a victory in there.
Yeah.
But the other teams they beat up pretty badly.
Handedly.
And they've done it for now the past 2 or 3 years. So here they sit, the new bad boys of the division.
Right.
But you're starting to kind of get that with the NFC South too. Not so much, but the NFC South used to be so much parity. If you remember, a different team every year was winning that thing. And now for the past 4 years, it's been Saints. So yeah, I hope Carolina could figure that out for next year and kind of end that. But right now, the Saints are the big bullies of the NFC South.
Yeah, well, I would say that once Breeze hangs up his cleats, everybody will have a chance. But, I don't know. They still got Michael Thomas. They still got Kamara.
Oh, yeah, they got weapons, no doubt.
They got weapons. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Drew Brees is a big piece of that team and everything, but they've shown that they can figure out ways to win without him. They'd rather have him, but they have shown that, for some teams, if you take away the quarterback and put somebody else in, they can't win. So, but for them, they've been able to show that, hey, we love to have Dwayne. But I mean, not Dwayne. We'd love to have Drew Brees, but once Drew decides it's been a heck of a career. Now, the only thing that could hurt them more than Drew Brees leaving is if Sean Payton decides to call it a career.
Yeah, now that would really hurt. But if
That
Sean
would hurt.
Payton,
That would hurt him more than Drew Brees leaving.
right?
If Sean Payton leaving.
But if Sean
For
Payton
sure.
sticks around, he's going to figure out something to do with Taysom Hill, and they're going to keep on keeping on. He's going to have him a running quarterback instead of Drew Brees, the pocket presence. So that'll be interesting going forward to see how Payton uses Hill. And we saw a little bit of that already this year. So if we get Hill into a little bit more accurate of a passer, the Saints are going to be right back next year looking dangerous.
Yeah, if you get Hill to do more RPOs, because you've got a great back with Kamara, if you sit there and you fake a couple of handoffs, instead of it looking more like a wildcat, but you turn it more into a traditional RPO where it looks like you're really going to hand it off to Kamara or Latavius, and then you pull it back and you run it where you maybe make the line shift so then you can, go that way. Then you're going to have a pretty good offense with that. And he's a big boy. He can take a hit.
No doubt.
Kyler Murray doing that, I worry that last hit going to be his last.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill, I don't really feel like – I feel like he's going to hurt the defender more than the defender is going to hurt him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he's a big boy.
Yeah, the last game I was watching with them, he smashed this linebacker in the end zone and stood there and looked at him, looked over top of him. I'm like, dang, when's the last time you seen a quarterback do that?
Because he's a damn tight end.
Yeah.
He's just a damn tight end playing quarterback.
Yeah.
He's just good. He's good enough to do it, though. But they need to work with him on his footwork and stuff like that. But I've seen him throw some really tight spirals and everything else. So as much as I don't want to root for the Saints, the cupboard is not going to be bare just because Drew Brees decides to leave.
Not at all. Not at all.
Now, the Tampa Bay project, I don't know what's going to happen with them because I guess Tom Brady is going to probably come back another year regardless of what happens in the playoffs.
It's looking that way. And
then Carolina is going to have an opportunity to get a quarterback with the top 10 spot. It may not be the ones that we want, or maybe they have the ability to do a package and trade up a little bit so that they can get somebody that they want.
It's looking like Justin Fields might fall into their hands. I mean,
good. Just be based on need. Some of those other teams that are going to be above Carolina really don't need a quarterback, really, because here's the thing. If you draft a kid that high at quarterback, he gonna start. Either it's the first game or a couple games in, he gonna start. So what you're doing is you're gonna draft yourself a quarterback controversy.
Yeah.
You definitely. I mean, it's the same thing with Jalen Hurts. It's like, hey, we had to go ahead and play him once Carson was showing that he couldn't fend him off. Now, like when Aaron Rodgers sat there and said, hey, wait a minute, you did what? You drafted a quarterback. How do I need receivers? You know I need a tight end. You know I need this, that. You're going to draft another quarterback. Okay. I'll just go ahead and put up 44 touchdowns and 5 picks.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Keep holding the clipboard.
Yeah, Mr. Love, you keep on holding that clipboard. It's the Aaron Rodgers show over here.
Now, do you think, aside from the Packers winning the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers is coming back to Green Bay next year?
Probably. He'll probably be back. I cannot see how in the world the Packers would let that go. Not right now. I mean, they would really have no sell to their fan base to let Rodgers walk away like that, especially for an unproven rookie. So I do see him coming back. Okay.
All right. I tend to agree with you. I think Aaron has basically shown them that was a bad they wasted a draft pick doing that.
Yeah.
Speaking of coming back, is Cam done?
Great question, brother. Great question.
Because Belichick says all the right things.
He says all the right things, as Belichick always has.
And if he believed that Jarrett Stidham or Hoyer gave them a better chance to win, surely he would have put them in by now.
Yeah. Cam was pretty much benched for that effort against Buffalo. What was he? 5 of 10 for 34 yards
Yeah.
in the first half.
And
Terrible,
Stidham didn't do any better. Neither one of them went over 50
terrible,
yards passing.
terrible, man. So when you're talking about is Cam Newton done in this league, I lean towards yes as far as a starter. Now there will be other opportunities for him, of course, if somebody gets injured. But looking around the league right now today, where do you put him at as a starting quarterback? I mean, he's probably going to do a Jameis Winston next year, and where he's backing up somewhere to prove himself yet again for another year. Um, I don't see him starting for any team in this league. Maybe the Colts because they're losing Brissett, and who knows what's up with Rivers. But other than the Colts, Washington might be a backup opportunity for him with his relationship with Cam Newton. With Rivera. But we're running out of options here. You had this Superman quarterback who, in his mind, the whole league wanted 2 years ago, and now we're at a point now to where you're looking at backup options for Cam.
I mean,
So
it seems like he really has to have everything now to be productive,
yeah,
meaning a established running game, an established line, very good number one, number two receivers,
right.
pass catching tight end. He would have to have all of those things, and then you plug him in
Just to
because
be
because
competitive.
he can't be that person that says, "Hey, I'm gonna extend the play by scrambling out like Rodgers does."
No,
Rodgers will roll to the right or roll to the left, so you coming into the pocket and he ain't there anymore, and that's how he gets you. He'll find Tungsten or whatever his name is, Tungan, and he'll catch him on the side or something like that. Cam just can't do that anymore. Like
no,
literally, you got to get open, and he throws it to you. He can't anticipate where
not at
you're going to
all.
be.
No. Mm-mm.
He can
The days
touch
of
as long
Cam
as you're
Newton.
wide open. He can throw to you all day long as long as you're wide
Yep.
open.
The days of Cam Newton elevating a team are over with. I just don't see it, man.
Don't either.
Uh-uh. So, yeah, to answer your question, are his days over in the NFL as a starter? I believe they are. I believe they are. We will see down the road next year, but as we sit here today, who does he start for?
Yeah. So, what has Andy Dalton done with his stock value in Dallas?
He's raising it a little bit, put up impressive numbers against Philadelphia. I think he had a 300-yard day or whatnot. So
377.
377, yeah.
22,
Cowboy fans been
22 and
waiting on that
30,
one.
3 touchdowns, one pick. Pick really wasn't on him. I mean, it
Yeah.
goes to him, but it was a tip.
Yeah, now that's a one-game effort, maybe 2 games. I forgot who they won against before that, but
Yeah, well, that was the thing. And that's why I brought that up because they beat the 49ers the week before, and he did okay with that as well. 19 to 33 for 209, 2 touchdowns, no picks. So the last 2 games he's thrown, 5 touchdowns, one pick for about 600 and something yards.
yeah. So we'll see what he does this last game, especially with it being a game that's kind of high profile. I believe it's going to be in prime time. I think they flexed that game into prime time. So we'll see what he does when the lights are bright in prime time nation.
Ain't that what we
Um,
always say? Ain't that
yeah,
what we always say? And
yeah,
and God, you know that I have no love for the Cowboys. So
none.
it breaks my heart to even say that they're turning it on. It's still on my schedule. It says Cowboys Giants 1 o'clock, but you're saying that they flexed it.
I think they flexed it into prime time. What's the 8 o'clock game for Sunday night?
The 8 o'clock game for Sunday night is Washington football team against the Eagles.
Yeah,
I would definitely, if they haven't, I definitely would flex that because
yeah.
I don't even understand why that would have been a prime time game to begin with. Oh my God. because when they made that schedule, you would have assumed that it would have been Carson Wentz against either Alex Smith or Dwayne Haskins.
Mm.
Can we say Dookie Bowl Part 2?
Yeah, man.
I don't know how they could have even sold that to anybody. Dookie Bowl.
The Dookie Bowl.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Any games coming up this weekend that you're looking at other than your Steelers, just to see if they're going to actually win this game?
Well, there's a storyline there too. You got
Yeah.
Big Ben not starting, so Mason Rudolph is going to be starting against the Browns.
Now, why is Ben not starting?
We don't need it. There's no way we can improve our position, so might as well rest them. Don't risk them out there, pretty much type of deal. But yeah, Mason Rudolph will be back in Cleveland.
And you're gonna have him play against Cleveland.
Yeah, back in Cleveland. What happened a little bit over a year ago with the helmet situation.
I would just like to say right off the bat, Browns, wear an extra jock strap or cup.
It's gonna be ugly.
Oh, and when Mason gets around some nuts, things can go left on you. I'm just saying. He's a nutcracker.
Hey, it is Christmas time, so
oh, the Nutcracker comes to Cleveland. That sounds like a Christmas movie, but it's just Mason starting for the Steelers.
Yeah, Miles Garrett, leave the boy's helmet on, please.
Oh God, that's hilarious. So yeah, they're going to be in Cleveland. A lot of these games are just dookie games. You got Vikings and the Lions, crap. Jets and the Patriots, crap. The Dolphins and the Bills could be a decent game. The Dolphins actually look pretty darn good this year with Tua. Again, I cannot say what Brian Flores knew by putting Tua in when Fitzmagic was doing his thing. I thought it could backfire. They were still in the playoff hunt, and it did not hurt them at all. Tua has been getting better and better. So hats off to the coach. He knew something the rest of us didn't.
Yeah,
I guess he'd been seeing
well.
Tua in practice. So very, very good decision.
Yeah, it was worked out very well.
Yeah,
what about you? Any games on the horizon for this week? You got a game of the week?
My game.
Panthers always playing the Saints the last game of the year.
That's
It's
just
like
a division.
5 years in a row.
Yeah, that's always the game they lose. And this game is actually in Carolina. I would, I'm of mixed feelings. It's a home game. You kind of want them to win a home game, but at this point, not really. The Saints don't need it, so I don't know how they're going to approach the game. So I don't know. That one's. There's not a whole lot of games to intrigue me this week. Like I said, you got Cowboys. I hate to say Cowboys Giants, but only because of the ramifications of that game. You think about Jaguars Colts, nothing. Ravens Bengals. I mean, if you want to see a human joystick, okay, maybe. Packers Bears blowout. Goodbye, Mitch. Chargers Chiefs. Kind of feel like the Chiefs, that's their game to lose. Chargers would have to do an upset. Raiders and the Broncos, Dookie Bowl Part 3. Seahawks and the 49ers, Dookie Bowl Part 4. So, there's some games, like I said, that have playoff implications. Washington Eagles does. Cardinals Rams does. The Titans, they need to win to keep up with the Colts. So those games do mean something from that standpoint, but just to watch the head-to-head matchups, wake me up Monday.
Yeah.
This is probably one I can sleep through. I do want to watch the Cowboy Giants game so I can root against the Cowboys. Because if I don't and the Cowboys win, the APB that I put out earlier this year on the Cowboys fans, we'll find every last one of them. They'll be back.
They'll be back.
Acting like they never left.
Yep.
We've been here the whole time. No, you ain't. You ain't been
No,
here.
no, bro.
You've been missing. I done put y'all on so many milk cartons. It's ridiculous.
It's been gracefully quiet.
Gracefully, and we're happy for that. But I tell
Yes.
you this, if those Cowboys win, oh my God.
Here they come, and how about them?
Oh God, how about them? At 7-9, they ready. Tampa Bay, here we come. We coming to the chip. If you 7-9, I don't care if you win all them games. Somehow they should pull you from the chip. We need to put you back in the bowl and reshuffle this all over again when we get down to the last 4 teams.
Yeah, your junk talking card gets pulled.
Yeah,
even if you
don't go to the chip.
No,
you go straight to the consolation game. But yeah, speaking of consolation, fantasy football is also wrapped up, hasn't it?
Yeah, man, lost the championship.
But
that
you
championship.
got to be in it to lose it. So you
That's
were
right.
in it.
So we'll be back in the hunt next year.
That's right.
Yep.
I'll be ready to take my second title next year as well.
Yeah.
Looking forward to doing that, and hopefully not half of my players get hurt and Christian McCaffrey gets pulled on me for most of the year.
Great season, though. Great season.
Yeah. You know, I am still happy for the most part. We have very few interruptions in the NFL season. Not once did we have to pause an entire week or a couple of weeks or anything like that.
Kudos to them.
Everything is still, running the schedule. We've had some little mishaps here or there, but when you've got a 50-man roster, not to include coaches, position coaches, assistant coaches, and everything else, a lot could have went even worse than what it did. So hats off to the NFL for giving us a little sense of normality in a year 2020 that, there's been a lot of things that have been first, whether it's Zoom call, Christmas with your family, and, doctor visits on Zoom, or working from home when you didn't work from home, and, a lot of things, walking around everywhere with masks on, and all those kind of things that we had to make our new normal. The one thing that has been a breath of fresh air was the fact that we had a complete NFL season.
Absolutely. Kudos to the NFL. Hand claps. As high contact as football is, well, you got linemen on a line of scrimmage on opposing teams breathing into one another's faces. Right. And we were still able to pull this thing off with no hiccups. Super Bowl still on schedule. Absolute kudos to the NFL. Not you, Haskins, but the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, Dwayne, in spite of you, we had a season. In spite of the 3 Denver Bronco quarterbacks, we had a season. Ravens, even though we had to keep rescheduling the games,
oh my God,
we had a Oh, the Steelers and the Titans, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Ravens. But through all of that, the NFL was still able to hang high and not only just have a season that you would say would have an asterisk beside it, but actually gave us some really good stuff on the field. We've really seen some players really ball out this year. The NFL MVP race is going to be very, very tight. I think Rodgers is probably going to get it, but I still, non-quarterback, am pushing for Derrick Henry. But he may not get it only because of the win-loss and because of the 44-5 that Rodgers has done. That's just unprecedented. So he's probably going to get the nod. Normally the quarterback gets the nod in situations like that. I'm not going to be mad if he gets it because it just makes too much sense. But I still think Henry and Roethlisberger should get some votes, even if it's not.
Agreed.
Enough.
Yep.
All right, sir. Well, with that said, I'm ready for this last week of the regular season. And then by the time we come back on, we will have actually had a wild card weekend.
Yeah, man. Ready to get it done. Before we get up out of here, kudos and props to Thomas Davis. Outstanding career, sir. Thank you for your service of the Carolina Panthers. Heading off to retirement. I hear that.
Who is
So
he?
props to you. Yep. One of my favorite defensive players of all time for coming back from,
He's been with the Chargers, right?
um, well, this year's the Redskins.
Okay.
Um, but went from Carolina to the Chargers and now with the Redskins, about to retire after this coming game, or if the Redskins do win, then his career will continue a little bit longer. But kudos to Thomas Davis, not one, not two, but 3 ACL tears,
ACLs.
and to come back and play at the level he's played at, incredible career. Props to Thomas
One
Davis.
of the best stories out there.
Yes.
Best
Yep.
stories out there. Absolutely. And definitely we'll end it with that. Thanks so much, Rand. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. And we will see you guys again next week. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.